Thanks, Chairman. Neal, one of the issues we're seeing now is backlogs in grain car movements as our farmers are working to get wheat and other commodities to market. Now, recently, the Surface Transportation Board required Class 1 railroads to provide biweekly reports on their progress for increasing rail service and making cars available. Comment, if you will, on the status there, what is being done, and in your opinion, what should be done to get that squared away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Senator Hoeven. This is something that we're taking very seriously, and in fact, some of our staff has been working with the STB on what can be done there. They are asking them now to report in on what their progress is on these issues. I still don't find the STB to be tough enough on our transport system sometimes, but I think there is opportunity here to the Grain Dealers Association has been involved in this as well, as the folks in your office have been very, very helpful in this area. I think it's something that we're going to have to stay on top of, because this is one, as I said, our early producers talked about this as being one of their largest production costs or reduction in what that bottom line is when it comes time to go see the banker every year. And I think it's something that we're going to have to stay on top of. You know, we went through a period where things were pretty well off. We had pretty good service. Then a few weather events began to hit. Then COVID hit. So I think they're short on crews. I don't think they've planned well, and costs continue to go up in this arena, and it's something that the producers are noticing. So any efforts on that on our behalf is very welcome, and we'll be there to help with testimony when those times come.
Right, and I'm meeting with the CEOs and others in the rail industry to try to get them to really make this a priority. Any other specific recommendations you'd have?
Well, I think when we saw this merger coming between the CP and the other railroad that the Kansas Southern that they merged with, we saw this as an opportunity to interject some other comments, I think, on this one, because the time was right and we had people's attention with that issue. So we're going to want to follow up on that. But this has long been one of those high-cost operations that I think we fussed about Kansas rates being cheaper than ours years ago, and some of these things are still true. I think we have to get balance in that arena and stay on top of it, because if we don't move this product, we have a little shorter wheat crop last year because of the drought. But corn and soybeans have to fit into this funnel that we're all addressing more Asian markets, and with the demand to China and so on, a lot of pressure on over there, and this has to work very smoothly. So it's going to be a very interesting topic for us for a long time.
Yeah, along those lines, Mrs. Meschke mentioned the Ocean Shipping Reform Act, which I sponsored along with Senators Klobuchar and Thune, which we've moved through the Senate. Talk to me about how that could help with some of these shipping bottlenecks too, and I'll ask the same question of Mrs. Meschke.
Well, I think Senator Hoeven, Senator Warnock, this brings a new attention, I think, to this. This is an area that has been a bit taken for granted. You know, people just assume there's ocean freight. We've been in a period when ocean freight was, relatively attractive given the where it has been in some time. So now we see these escalating rates. We see all the bottlenecks, and there are multiple causes, of course, but drawing attention to it is a big part of that battle. And I think increasing awareness, this kind of effort should help a lot in making everyone aware that this is very important. Because why? $191 billion in exports are hanging in the balance here. We're the only sector in the economy that provides a positive trade balance, the only sector in the economy. And I think that's something that agriculture it's risking right now when we have these kinds of bottlenecks. It slow up the inputs coming in, and it's very, very important that we get our products out. Again, when we have full-size crops coming out this year, it's going to be very, very important.
Mrs. Meschke, your fellow Jackrabbit fan just showed up. So your thoughts on the ocean shipping container? He was obviously one of the leads on it. So your thoughts on it?
And appreciate that. I'm going to really boil it down. Our company, as shared, is owned by dairy farmers. They make processed cheese in Portage, Wisconsin, that of late has been stalled in China ports for a lot of reasons, as we all know, the political climate. But that's just an example of how it directly impacts rural America. Swiftly passing that Reform Act, as I shared earlier, is just one part of it. At the same time, the administration can take steps to, again, weekly container availability snapshot, providing fast lane incentives for exports at port terminals. And so it's a suite of solutions that can be added to that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.